Engineer Abubakar, I think we can start, right?
Yes, please, we can begin, sir.
So maybe what will happen, maybe we can start with the national anthem.
Okay, yeah, that will be glad.
Let's start with the national anthem.
Okay.
Good morning, my chairman.
Nasirudeen.
Yeah, so when
Yeah, I
you're
can
ready,
hear you.
when you're ready, we can start.
Okay, yes. So can you hear the national anthem? Did you hear the national anthem? Okay. Can you hear me, everyone?
I can hear you, but was the national anthem read already?
Yeah, it was finished. It was right. Yes, I don't know whether you can hear because it was.
Oh, I did not hear. I don't know if others had.
We couldn't hear.
Okay, maybe there is problem from my computer, I think. Anyway, I think we can skip it and just move on. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. It is actually my pleasure to welcome all of you to this session. This is just a Coreldraw training session organized by the Young Engineers Committee of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Eastern Province Branch, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I think this is a valuable opportunity for all of us here to enhance our technical and design skills. As we all know, this is very important software. It can be very useful to all of us in our different field of specialization. And mastering this tool will not only improve our ability to create professional graphics, but it can also help us to streamline our documentation and presentation. So in this regard, I would like to thank our speaker, esteemed trainer, Nasirudeen, Dr. Nasirudeen, Engineer Dr. Nasirudeen, for taking time to share his expertise with us. I'm very sure that his knowledge and experience in this software will actually make this session highly beneficial to all. So I encourage everyone actually to participate, engage actively. You can ask questions. There will be a question and answer session at the end of the presentation, and make most of this training. I'm also sure that the skills that you gain today will contribute to your professional growth, and also is going to contribute to the success of also of the branch. So without further delay, I will hand over to the chairman of the Young Engineers Committee. Maybe if you have anything to say, otherwise we can just move on to the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Sir, for the introduction. I think owing to the time factor, we can just go ahead and begin the training. Thank you very much. We wish you well. Thank you very much.
Okay. Over to you, Dr. Nasirudeen.
No, assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone to this short tutorial, like I would call it. My name is, as rightfully mentioned, Engineer Dr. Nasirudeen. So we'll be having the session on just a brief introduction. And first of all, let me just first do a small clarification. I don't see myself as, I'm not an expert in Coreldraw, let me put it that way. It's just a tool I've used over the time, and I've been able to learn to use. I did not really get a direct training from anyone. It's something that I was born out of practice over time. For a very long time, I've used it. So I'm not an expert in it, because there are 1,001 things the software can do that even maybe myself, sometimes you want to do some things, you just quickly, yes, you have the idea that, yeah, this software should be able to do this. How will it do it? We have the internet nowadays to quickly search for how to do this, how to do this. But what this would actually show us and bring to us would be the fact that we would see the possibilities of what this software can be used to do, and we would know that this is possible, and also how to be able to get more information about how to use the software. So unfortunately, this came as somehow impromptu. Let me apologize. I don't have an official presentation also, but I would just like to chip in one or two things before we start into the software directly about the concept of generally graphic design. Graphic design. So the concept of graphic design is just, I call it something of ideas. It's you having an idea about how something should look like, then you will think of different ways of how you can achieve that thing. So myself and anyone, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons might design the same thing, but they will use different paths to get to the same result. So you can do things anyhow. The end goal is it's giving you what you want. Whether you spend 1 hour to do it or you spend 10 minutes to do it, that is usually what makes a difference in terms of expertise in most of these softwares. And then Coreldraw is a software that is it's a very old software. It's not new. Nowadays, most of the things it can do, we now have some faster tools that can be able to do the things also. Like we know we have many AI capabilities that can do some things quickly and the rest. And then, but there is nothing that would replace you being able to do something from the scratch. When you know from the scratch, you do everything layer by layer. So when there is any mistake or need to correct anything, you can always go back to any of the layer and make the correction there. There are other online tools now like Canva. Canva is also a very good tool. I use most of the time if I don't really have the time to crack my brain for how to do this. I just look for templates and just edit template for some design we want to do. But it's good we have an idea about the at least one of the software. There are two common graphic design software back then in the past 10 years or so. Now there are many of it. But the two common ones used to be the Coreldraw and Photoshop. And that is where the like the word that is being used for most of the things that is not real. They will say, oh, it is Photoshop. It's Photoshop. Because there is a software called Adobe Photoshop, which is also basically for graphic design, photo editing, and the rest. Some people prefer the Adobe Photoshop, some prefer this. Both of them are very fantastic software. a little bit of difference in what they can do is very blur, what one can do, what one cannot do, but they follow different paths to achieve to achieve the same objective. So that is it with regards graphic design in general. Now, with regards the Coreldraw now. So Coreldraw is just one software because Coreldraw itself doesn't come as a single software. When we go to the Coreldraw website, you want to, this is, let me see if I can share my browser and just show us some brief thing with regards the Corel itself. 1 minute, please. Okay, share the browser. Okay. So if we go to the website of Corel, for example, just what you download, when you download from there, it's called the Corel Graphics Suite. Not so Corel Graphics Suite, it's the mother software. It's very expensive software, as you can see on the screen. It's about even with promo, is a subscription sort of. The actual software is about 500 or exactly. For the 2025 version, one-time purchase is about 644 USD. That is how expensive the software is. And it can do numerous amount of this. And whatever it can do has to come from the initial idea. It has to come from your own idea. So what we have is the Corel Graphics Suite. So in the Corel Graphics Suite now is where we now have multiple of other softwares. So this is what the Corel Graphics tool usually contains. We have the Coreldraw, which is what is commonly used. We have the Coreldraw Web, which is relatively new for web application, and this was not there before. We have the Corel Photo Paint also. So Photo Paint is usually good for painting, editing picture itself. Not editing picture is different from doing graphic design, doing posters and the rest. They are two different things. So this is why we have the Corel Font Manager, Corel Capture, like that. So Coreldraw is just one, and is the most commonly used one, the common one on all of this software. And that is what we'll be looking at briefly today. The current version, now it's 2025, and but I'll be using a version that I have installed on my PC. It's almost the same thing. I started with, if I remember very well, I think I started with Corel 7. That was the popular one there, Coreldraw version 7. And so on that 7, I think it has to do with the year. That was 2007 then. So now we are in 2025. It's called Corel Graphics 2025. I'll be using Coreldraw X7. So X7 simply means 17. X, the Roman numeral for 10, and 7 means Coreldraw 17. So let me go back to sharing the software back. No, okay. So I'll go back directly to the software. So installation of the software is just like common installation. We won't go into that process. Normally you have your exe file, you install it and the rest. I try to share some link where maybe we can download the trial version of this particular version. I'm not sure if others, some people are having it already. That will be good so that you can easily follow up with the basic that we'll be doing. So starting the software for the first time, you will have this type of screen we have here. There are some things showing on my screen here that maybe in your own it might not show. For example, when we look at this area, you see open recent. So these are basically some of the documents I've done recently that is telling, just like our normal Microsoft Word, you can open some recent file, you have easy access to it. So I would go into just discussing what do we have in the software. But we want to, first of all, open a new document. So we have it here directly. So when you click new document, a screen pops up. So what is this screen? This screen is basically telling you to define your workspace. For example, I have my maybe the my guys in architecture or the civil engineer guys will have more idea of this. So the software is like the table. So your workspace is simply your sheet of paper that you put on the table. So here you find your workspace, which is what is the size of the paper you want to use. For example, I'm using the paper as if you have a big table, then you bring up an A4 paper to want to start drawing or writing on it. So here we would see that the size is at A5. So if I want A4, I can easily click this arrow and select the size I want. There are many sizes here. There is A3, there is any size, letter size here. I usually love to go with A4, or depending on sometimes the kind of poster design you want to do. So you select the appropriate file, and you will see how this will show up when we finish selecting it. So I have it as, I'll mention A4. Name here simply means the name of your document. What do we want to give you? I'll just put this as a new training, which is the name of the document. So this is destination is just the we leave it as the Coreldraw default. Coreldraw default will give me a letter size. Will give me letter size, and unless I change it, well, these are the default values that comes with it. I can decide to change it to A4 letter size as I want it. Then the size. This is the size of the A4 paper, both width and height. Here we can select if we want it in a landscape or portrait. It's in portrait now. If I want a landscape design, I'll click here, landscape. Then the number of pages. So just like our drawing paper, we can have many pages, page 1, page 2, page 3, like that. So here we can define, but even after we finish setting up everything here, we can still add more page and the rest. Then here is the color mode. Color mode is either GB or CYMK. This usually depends on whether your design would be basically for, what should I call it? Will be basically for the printing. If you want to print, usually some people advise, if you want to print, I think use this CYMK. And if you want to leave it on the social media for visuals and the rest, you can leave it in the RGB, like that. So any one of these color we select is fine. We would see how the color palette will show up. So when we finish setting all of this, the color setting, everything and the rest, we can just click OK. If I don't want this dialog box to show again anytime I click new document, I can click here, but I always want it because every of my design the size I want to use could be different. So I'll just click OK. So once I click OK, now I get the page. So we can see how the page showed up. The page showed up as it is because we have selected it to be in a landscape, and that is why we have it. We can see the paper there. We can see the paper there, and we can see many other things shown here. This thing is disturbing me. Okay. So we can see many things on the screen is shown. This is now, this size we have here, I'm showing here, this is our workspace. So any design we do that falls inside this place here, inside this area, anything we do that falls inside this area will simply be part of our printout, the final part of our design. But if we do anything outside, just like a rough area, we can do many things outside, it will not form part of our design unless we drag it and bring it into here. So this is like our workspace. So basically in this workspace, what do we have? Now, what we have here is, let me copy something here for visual so that you can be able to see what we have here very well. We have the complete screen layout. So I just pasted this now just to show us the screen layout. So this is the Coreldraw screen layout that we have. What do we have? We have the first bar here, which is called the title bar. So the title bar is simply, okay. So what we have in the title bar is just simply the title of our work and the name of the software that we are using. That is what we have there in the title bar. And immediately after the title bar, we have the menu bar. So this is menu bar, meaning in here is where we have our menu. We have all of the menu here, right inside there. So we have different kind of menu here, which we will try to look as much as we can in the menu. The most common one, we have the file menu, edit menu, view menu, layout, object, effect, bitmap, text, table, depending on what you want to do. That is the menu bar. After the menu bar, we simply have the standard toolbar, which is basically just like what we have in the Microsoft Word. Is a shortcut to most of the things we have under the menu bar here. So that you can have easy access to it. After that is the property bar. So this is the property bar. So this property bar simply gives you the properties that are associated with your selected tool. In here, this side here, I hope it's clear enough. Let me copy a picture of that also. We have here, what we call the toolbar. Yeah, which are what we have here, the toolbar. So these are the different tools that we're going to be using. It's right here. We have the pick tool. We have many types of tools, the shape tool. We have the crop, the zoom, the freehand tool, the shape. This is called the artistic media tool to make some artistic design. We have here the shape tool also, which we can have under it. Rectangle is there, different kind of shape. Here also the circular tool, the trapezium tool. This is the text for drawing lines. So these are basically the majority of the tools that we are going to be using. And for each of these tools, they are not just here. We will see that almost majority of the tools, they have something. If you look here very well, anyone that has this small arrow, there's a small arrow down here. Anyone that has a small arrow, meaning that you still have some kind of sub-tool under it. Anyone that has a small arrow, they have some kind of sub-tool under it, meaning if you click those sub-tool, you click just now, you can have access to many other tools. Like I click the pick tool now, the arrow, I have the freehand pick and the free transform. If I come here, the shape tool, once I click, I have other tools. So those are some similar tools are grouped together. We will try and see some of these tools, how we can be able to use them. We have down here, I'm trying to see if I can zoom in more, if we have down here, okay, I think, okay now. Down here is where we have the page bar, which is the property bar, the document navigator. So you can see here I have only page 1, meaning I'm on my page 1. If I need to add more page, I can add more page here, and it will change page 2 of 2. Page 1, if I can go back to my page 1, which is where I have this, I have it on page 1. I have page 2. So I can have as many page as I want to have in here. Then I have on this other side here, thankfully nowadays we have what we call hints. Hint bar is here, which gives you an hint depending on the kind of tool that is selected. So depending on the tools that you've selected, you can get a hint about it. For example, I've selected here, my pick tool is selected. You see the hint, how you can use it, for different shapes easier. If I come and select another tool, zoom tool, it gives me how to use it. So this makes it quite easy. And we have, finally, we have the color deck here, which is something very useful we're using most of the time for color in there. So this is basically the overview of the Coreldraw layout. I'll just move to, let's see how we can do a small work now. So like I've said, I can use, I'm doing something now, trying to zoom in the page with if you are using the kind of mouse that have the scroll bar in the middle. Once you bring in your mouse here, you can easily scroll up and down to bring in the zoom in and front here. So let me just go through some of the common menus that we'll be using. Maybe I think if I go this way, it makes it easier to follow and understandable. So the first tool that we have here is the first menu, the file menu. So clicking on the file menu, we have the sub menus coming up. We have the sub menus here. The first sub menu is new, like we know, starting a new document. New from template. Coreldraw has its own many templates, which you want if you need to create something from a template. Open recent to give you some recent file you're working on. Close, just to close the page. So we have many like this we can go through. We have some here, acquire image. So acquire image is simply, for example, you have a scanner. You want to scan an image directly into Coreldraw. You use acquire image, which, assuming I have a scanner connected to my PC, this thing will be highlighted. So I can pick it and select the scanner and scan. I have a search, which is simply to search. You have import. Import also is, you can import anything. One thing about Coreldraw is that you can import a whole Word document inside it. If you have a Word document of 10 pages, you can import it. It will open it, and you can make some edits inside it. You can use it as a word processor also. Export, because I don't have anything, nothing is selected to export. That's why everything is here. So we can export in different kind also. We can export in PDF, export in picture, anyhow we want like that, and send to also other things. Those are the basic one. Print, these are common things we use in the Microsoft Office. So also we have edit. This is similar to what we have in MS Word under the edit. Redo, repeat, Control-Z, Control-R, all of these things works right here. Paste, and we have a duplicate and clone. So this tool is also something that is sometimes most people confuse what is the difference between clone and duplicate. So I will just do a small demonstration to show the difference between clone and duplicate. For example, let me just, if I need to draw a rectangle, I have here my rectangle tool. So that would be the first shape. I click it. Once I click it, I can see, once I move to my workspace, I can see the way the cursor changes. So I can just draw. I can draw like this. So I have my rectangle. Someone will say, oh, but I'm not drawing in the workspace. Yes, I can decide to draw in the workspace. I can move it to the workspace. I can use the pick tool. Come back, pick is just to pick anything. Get my pick tool and drag it here. If I don't want, I can do any design I want outside there. So I have this, I can change the shape anyhow I want. If I come to drag it, that's what you see here in the hint. Many things we can do. If I click it by this side and I go up and down, I can change the size. That is one way to change size. Another way to change size, you will see, once I have this rectangle, we look at the property bar. The property bar gives you everything with regards to this. The first one is the dimensions. I mean, the first one is not the dimension. This XY is simply the location of this in the whole of my workspace. So that's the location. It's like latitude and longitude in the solar, in the Earth system to describe location. So this XY gives me the location of where this is located. Why this gives me the dimension of it. I can change the dimension. If I want a specific dimension, I can come here directly and change it to maybe 100. I'll type 100. Okay, 100. We are going to notice one thing. I have changed only the breadth. I mean, only the breadth. But this also changes automatically. The height also change. Why? The height change automatically. It's simply because there is a small button here, which is called lock ratio. So the ratio is locked. If I want to define both separately, I don't want it to be locked. I could come and unlock. Once I click this, now it's unlocked. You see, it's like a small padlock. The padlock is open now. So I can change anyone. If I want 100 by 50 now, I can easily click 50. It gives me 100 by 50. Once this is set, I can still come back and lock it back. So now I have locked 100 by 50, meaning that if I drag this anyhow, this aspect ratio will be preserved. If I change this now to 50, and I click enter, automatically the aspect ratio is preserved. It changed the other one to 25 because previously just 1 to 2 to 1. So that is why this is very important sometimes, because you want to maintain a particular aspect ratio for many things in your design. And then we have the other one here, which is rotation. For us to be, I can rotate this as I want. I can rotate in 2 different ways. That is why I said here there are many ways to kill a fowl. You can do it many ways. One easy way to rotate this is just I come here, I see the sign, and I give it the angle I want it to rotate. I want it to rotate by 90 degrees, for example. I type in 90 and press enter. It gives me 90. I want 45 degrees. I type 45 degrees. It changes like that. I want it to go back to 0. What is the other way by which we can do this? Is we can use our pick tool to rotate it. The pick tool, depending on the object you select, once I click this object, it gives me this angle. If I double click the object, clicking twice, double click, or just click it one more time, you see it changes the sides. So meaning with this now, I can use this to rotate. I can come and grab one of this angle. Once I bring the mouse, it changes to rotate and rotate anyhow I want it. And if you watch something very well, as I'm rotating it, the angle on the property bar changes also. Before it was 0, because I've turned it almost 360 degrees, it changes also. So I can use this also to anyhow as I want it. So those are the 2 ways. If I want, I can click out back. So that is it about this one. So before I came here, I was talking about clone and duplicate. So I have this object now. One common thing we would use very well here is color. I said we have this color bar. This is our color bar. So once you click any object you have, if it's a closed object, like the rectangle, the circle, any object that is closed, any object that's a closed object, you can apply color to it. You can just come here directly and click any color you want. I want to put yellow. I want to put blue. I want to put, I'm not sure this is red. I'm not that good in color, maybe, but I want to apply this as red with this. Now, one thing is, there is one thing here. Let me zoom this so that we'll see it very well. I want to do something. This is, now, what I did now, sorry if this gets confused, is I've just zoomed the rectangle. I've not increased the size. I use the zoom button. So I click on the zoom and drag across it. So you can zoom anywhere. If I want to return back, I can just right click. Right click, when the zoom tool is activated. I want to zoom more, I just zoom. I've not changed the size. I'm just increasing the magnification, zooming it. The size is still the same. So if you look at this rectangle very well, you will see there is an outline. There is an outline. So here, what makes it different also is that we can play with the outline also. So under here, under the property bar also, because we look at, once you click any object, we look at the property bar, everything you need about that object is there. We have done with rotation. The next one here is like mirror. I would show us the mirror when we have an object that would give us the mirror perspective. So mirror is just for you to flip the object. So you can flip horizontally or flip vertically. Yeah, once if I click now, we might not really see the difference because we don't have any color variation to show us the difference. We would come back to that also. Then we have here, this, you see these three signs shows us the different type of angle we can have. The first one is the round angle. Yes, we will look at it, is round corner is selected, but here it is not round. It is not round because we have not defined the radius of the angle. So if I come is 0.0, you know, we have 4 corners. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have here 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can define different angle for each. Or if you want all to be the same, then we lock it, just like we saw here. It is locked. So I can increase this now by selecting this. I increase the radius, and you'll see how it's changing. You see how it's changing in the how we have it that is changing. So you can have this edge. If I don't like this edge, I want this type of edge, I can do this. I want this type of edge. So we can have this like this. Usually I love this type of edge, depending on the design you're doing. It's not that I love this, depending on the design. That's why I say the design is an imagination. I would show us one of our chapters, a poster, and we'll see how each of these two come to play, how we're able to use it to get a big poster at the end of it. So that is it about this one. The next one here is for the outline. You can change the thickness of the outline. The thickness of the outline currently set is 0.5 pt, pixel point. So we can change it. I can come and say 4, for example. If I click on 4, you see the outline. Increase the font of the outline. Also 2. So this I'm doing it for this rectangle. This works for any other object. It's the same process. Any other object, this would work for it also. So I wanted to mention something with regards to the color now. I mentioned to apply a color because the question might be, okay, I have this color now. How do I want to change the color of the outline? This is where Coreldraw becomes relatively easier to use. For example, I want to apply this blue color to the outline. When I want to apply the color to the infill, I just click on the color, right? For example, I want to apply yellow, I just click on it. If I want to apply it to the outside, what do? I right click on it. If I right click on red now, it goes to the outline. So that's how to give different inlet, infill, and the outline, different color. And just right click on the color, it goes to the outline. Normal click goes to the infill of it. So this is the same, any version of Coreldraw. This has been there since the Coreldraw 7, which we started with, up to this level here. So this works for every object. Like I've said, what we have done now is simple, and for any object we select, it works for it. So let me go back to the clone and duplicate. So duplicate is simply, we know what is duplicate. The option is Control D. If I select this and I can use the shortcut, which is Control D, and I say duplicate. So it creates exact duplicate of it. Exact duplicate of it. Now watch something now. This is the duplicate. Let me create a clone of it. If I edit clone. So this is a clone of it, while this is a duplicate of it. This is my original object. Now, what's the difference between the clone and duplicate? Clone is simply that any edit I made on this would be having an effect on this, but you don't have effect on the duplicate. For example, if I decide to change the size of this, the clone, automatically, the size changes also. But the duplicate, nothing happened to it. So that's the basic difference between both of them. So when you clone something, their attribute goes together with it. So if I increase the size, it goes. If I make it very small, if I change the color, also, it goes with it, like that, which doesn't affect the duplicate one. So that is it with regards that here. Under the view is basically is not something I use much. It's just, this has nothing to do with your design. It's just what you see, what you view, and the rest with usually I use enhance or normal view, show you. But there is something here also that we should know, which is the ruler. So in the workspace, like the normal architectural drawing, like we have in the AutoCAD and the rest, Coreldraw also has the ruler on both sides, which you would see here. You would see the ruler at the edges here in millimeter. You see the ruler here. So what this does is that it enables you sometimes to be able to know the location of your item and to place item properly with each other. Then we have something called grid. So this grid, I like it so much sometimes because you want to arrange some things. When you're doing design, the finest details in the design has to do with your alignment. Yes, there are multiple ways. There are many ways you can do, easy way you can do alignment in Coreldraw. But one of the things also is using, when you have your grid on, it makes you to place your items and know, okay, this item is maybe one grid away from this. This is exactly on the same grid with this. And I will show that now. If I click grid, if I say baseline grid, we can see what the baseline grid does. It draws a line on what? On our work area only. It did not affect the rough area because I said this is the work area we defined in the beginning. Only it did not affect, it has nothing to do with the rough area. But when I come and say view grid and I say document grid, this simply gives me stuff like this. So it gives me the grid such that I can now be able to know that, oh, this my triangle and this, they are on the same line. You can see it from the grid. If I zoom in, you can see the grid on the system. You can gives you to have a good alignment of your work on that one. I don't really use this much. Sometimes I use it. It depends on what we're doing. So I will just remove both of it. And this grid line that is drawn here, let me mention this, does not form part of your document. So if I finish doing a design and I print, this grid line would not show in it. It does not form part of your, it's just like something virtual for you to be able to see what you're doing in that. So that's it. On the layout, it's just like we have the normal layout in the Microsoft Word. We can insert page, duplicate page, page number, insert page number, and the rest. So all the other ones, objects, these we can insert some barcode. We have some power clip. These are things we will only be able to use when we have an object. You see, most of it are blurred because there is no object selected. Once I select an object now, for example, I select this object and I click a layout, object, some of it comes to play. So I can power clip. I will show what do we mean by, let me even demonstrate some now for us now. Let me use this to do some. And one good thing about this is that you can easily go to your browser. If you need any picture, for example, I would go to my browser now and I would get a picture of, I'll go to my browser. I want to get a logo of our NSC. I want to get a logo of our NSC now. You can easily copy any picture and paste. And I will just Google NSC logo. For NSC NG logo. Okay. Images now. So we can copy image now, for example. So I just paste this picture now. I've brought out this picture. This is our NSC logo. So what can we do with this now? For example, we can do many things with this. First of all, you can see it having this black background. The first thing is when you copy images, especially from Corel, from from internet and the rest, you want to make sure that your image, you are able to use this in Coreldraw you want to convert it to bitmap. I love to do this, and you would see the difference. And one thing I also like to do is whenever I copy any image to Coreldraw, I initially create a duplicate of the image before applying any effect on it. So just in case something goes wrong, I have my original image. I don't want to be using Ctrl-Z, Ctrl-Z, Ctrl-Z. I have my original image. I can easily go back to it. So I will use Ctrl-D to make a duplicate. I've made a duplicate and I will save it somewhere. Usually I just take my duplicate out of my workspace. It's there. That's why sometimes if I open some of my Coreldraw, you will see many things in my workspace. Those are just like some tools I'm not using. So I have this now. We can do many things here. We can, I can come and say, first convert to bitmap. Just once I convert it to bitmap, to be sure that, yeah, and you see, do you notice the difference between the two? Now, this is the original one. When I convert to bitmap, it increased the, in terms of visual, you can see the difference. Look at the edges. Look at what we have here. This becomes more smoother now. But we know that in any design graphic we want to do, we cannot use this logo as it is like this. What's this black thing? This black thing, we want to remove the black thing. We want to make this to be transparent and the rest. Different software, different things we can use to do this. Even in the Canva, automatically you can tell it to remove the background, it removes it. In here, in Coreldraw, we can do it by using what we call the bitmap color mask, which is here. Bitmap color mask. If it's not here, we can come to bitmap and we could see it here, bitmap color mask. So it's something you can use to mask a particular color. And under the bitmap color mask, we have two options: hide color, show color. So what we want to do is we want to hide black color, right? So we would select, this tool is to select any color selector. We click it, we come and select any color. Once we select the color, you see, because default is black, you see it here, the color is selected here. And we have this range here, which shows like, how do you want to hide it? Is it fully or just partially? So once I've selected the color is highlighted here. I can say apply. You see what we get? Apply. It removes part of that color that is selected, but it's not fine enough. This is not what we want. So we can use this to select the intensity. I can increase this to about maybe 50, meaning that what this does is that it's depending on the percentage you select, it removes every other color that is closer to what you have selected. So once I click apply, you'll see that even the other black part is gone. So I can play with this to see when it gives me something relatively okay. If I want to remove anything black, once I click even the Nigerian, this is gone. So this is one way by which we can play with this bitmap color, bringing any image down here. So I was talking about, and there is something here about designs, that most of the things we see with regards design, they are not just something that was designed in a particular layer. There is something we call layer. Layers is simply like you have a paper, you put another one on top of it, you put another one on top of it, like that till you get what you want. So there is something very good with Coreldraw in terms of the layer, which is the transparency tool. This is what I love. This is one of my best tools when it comes to design. I use it a lot, and then you would not believe what you can achieve with your imagination with the transparency tool. You need to have the good imagination with regards that one. But let's not jump to it. We take it one by one and we see what we can get to that. So that is it with bitmap. Text is simply for your text. So let's go to text, which is very important. This is the toolbar for text. Once you have text here, once you click it, you would see once I click, text is selected and I come out with my tool. I have it, you have the A. So anywhere I click, I can click anywhere and start typing. And start typing whatever I want to type. can type anything I want to type. So when I've finished typing, now I can come back to my pick tool. So I can do a lot of things with this. With this text, we can do a lot of things with the text. I'm going to just make some duplicates and do different random things with this text. I'll make a duplicate of it. So what is number one thing we can do with text? Just like usual as our Word, we can change the font. In Coreldraw, compared to Word or any other thing, we have a lot of fonts that we can use. Extra bold, you have a lot of fonts that can be used. So let me bring this here where we can see it. And I'll just select different kind of font. We see the different kind of font. You can see how they look like here. If you want the italic. So you can go through a lot of fonts and select. This is the elephant font. Any type of font you want, any type you can mention. Even if some are not here, you can download fonts and bring them right here. Different fonts can be applied to anything here. And the size is there. And bold and italic are not blurred out here because of the type of font I'm using. Because there are some fonts you don't need. For example, this is a font that is already bold. What do I want to apply bold for? And this type of font does not support italic. If I change the font to something else that supports both bold and italic becomes active. So it depends on the type of font that you can use. So I will do one thing here with the text. I want to combine this text now with this triangle I have here. I want to combine this. Maybe I want to bring this text here. I want to bring this text to form around this rectangle here. So we can do this in many ways. We have the option also. Once text, we have here text option. Yes, I have text option here. We have text option here. And also we have it under here also text. So I can select the text and come to text and select what we call select the text. I don't know, maybe this select text. Once I select text, I'm having some. Let me close this there. Okay. Sorry, I'm having some kind of movement from my system. Why this? Maybe I need to, let me see. Okay, I think that's corrected now. Okay, so I select the text and I come to text now. I would say fit text to path. So fit text to path is actually what is used to do, like we can see in our logo, you see a text that is written in circular form. So what was used in this is fit text to path. Once I click fit text to path, it changes, the arrow change. We can see as I'm moving around different text, different paths, it's showing me how I can be able to apply it if I need to fix text to path. So once I I'm not clicking anything now, this is very important. I'm just taking my mouse around, and this feature was not there in the olden version. You have to select and see how it looks like, then edit it again. But now, before you apply it, you can just move the mouse around and see it. So I can easily click now here, and I have the text like this. So I fix this text to this part, and that is why we have it there. It will have been very much more obvious if I've used a circle. If I want to draw a circle, I just come here and click a circle and draw a circle like this. This is a circle, and if you look at the circle very well, so one thing common here is it is not a perfect circle. If I want to achieve a perfect circle, and I can see here in the hint, it's giving everything, I will press Control. Once I press Control, what I have is a perfect circle before drawing. I will have a perfect circle. So I want to do that again. Fit text to path. I select this text, fit text to path, and I come here. I can see. So I can do it, and I can fit text to part here. So this is how, this like what's like the foundation of many logos we see. This is how easy it is to do this. And once you even do this fit text to part, you can still do things. I can click it and I would see a red sign. Once any sign you see in Coreldraw is very useful though. Let me zoom this so that you can see it very well. I have this now. Once I click this, now there's a small red sign here. What is that? I can bring my mouse to it and use it to move as I want along the same path. I can move as I want. I can see, yes, but I know that the way it has written, I can bring it in also. I know this should not be this way. It should be the other way. Then I can come to, there is a tool here. Yeah, here. You will see, because this is selected, text to part. Once you look at the property bar, you have your property for this action. So I can click here, which is to mirror the text horizontally. You see now it changed to Nigeria, but I can still say it's still not correct. I can come here and use this. And use, where is that other one? So there are a lot of things. This is just showing like one of the things that can be done here. A lot of practice will be needed before one can actually say, oh yes, I can be able to use this perfectly now as expected of me. So this is one thing we can do with text, with text and the rest. And then another common thing is that you can have a picture and you want your picture to form into this circle perfectly. For example, I will just copy a picture. Like I said, you can copy any picture. Let me open what is the time now? This is 5 o'clock. Okay. What I will do now is, I don't know if there is, maybe we can see if there's any question up to now. Because what I want to do now is I want to open an existing drawing, one of our poster, then we just go through it and see how we end up having the poster as it is. My chairman.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Nasirudeen, for this wonderful presentation. At least we have a part of the presentation. So please, if you have any questions regarding the first part of the presentation before moving on, please, you can forward it. You can either text it or you can also ask questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, so I think it's just a general overview. Like I said, everything cannot be covered in one day and the rest. You want to show us the transparency tool, but for me to be able to show us the transparency tool, I will bring in an already made a poster which will be able to see the effects, and that is where our imagination will easily come to play. You can let me know, Chairman, if we have, in case we have any question, so I can pause and take the question. So I'll just open one of my, let me open what is happening with my mouse? Okay. I want to open maybe one of our certificates or poster. Okay. Okay, let me open this. Okay, so this is not having a picture though. Let me see if I can have another one that's having a picture. Okay, so this is one of my workspace. Don't mind, like I said, my workspace is usually a bit rough, and you can see it's evident from here. I have my working space here, then I have the rough table where you can pick many things from the internet and dump them anyhow as you deem it fit. And as you want it in your workspace, you put it there. And then there is one thing with Coreldraw. If you look down here, I have many pages here, up to like 13 pages. If I go to any of the page, what will change will only be the active workspace. Every other thing that is in the table, or I would say that is rough, will be the same for every page, because they are just simply like a rough area. Then you have your workbook that you are working with. So it's only the workbook that I'm changing. I'm not changing my table. I'm not moving from one table to another when I move from a page. I'm only moving from one page to another. So if I go to any of the pages, what you will notice is the content of the page is what is changing, and the other part of it is not changing. So these are some of our previous posters that we have used. So this is having a new theme. So I would use this now for new. I would use this poster, for example. So yeah, let me just work with this poster, for example. How have we been able to achieve this poster? There are many things. What we see when we look at this poster. What we see when we look at this poster is just what it is, the poster in it. But I will break it down. Let me copy it out to make it easy. What's happening with this? I want to copy it into a new document. So I have this poster here, even though I did not copy very well. Let's see. I think I saw, okay, yeah, let me use this. This has many of the features I've shown now. Copy. So I will use this poster now. And then I will show us. So this is what we see with this poster. But this poster is just there. When I move everything together, because I've grouped everything together, I will dissect this poster for us to see the different things that makes up this poster. So first thing I will do is just to tell Coreldraw to ungroup everything, ungroup all objects. Once I ungroup everything, you see, I can bring everything out. Fortunately for me, it's even ungrouped. Let me group this logo back so that the logo can be a single logo as it is. So I can bring everything here out one by one. Everything here can come out one by one. Everything here. They are done separately and were brought together. You can see this is different from this. This is different from this. So this is what I'm saying, that the graphic design is like an art. You need to see how everything is different. Everything is done separately, but it's your imagination that brings this thing together, that makes them actually what they are. Even this itself as it is not one. It's not one. I can still go ahead and ungroup it. Where is that group? I can still, okay, I have used another effect to do this. I can use what we call the extract content. So once I extract the content out, you see I have two different pictures. So these are what brings that beautiful poster we saw. You see how separately they are. So how I will be able to do this? Let me start from the last part, which is this now, for example. Which is this now. I'll start with how have I been able to make this? I'll make a duplicate of it before separating it. Then I would come and separate it. I have used what we call power clip object inside. So I will extract content. So these are what I have this picture. I brought this picture from the internet separately. I have this picture separately, and I have this object drawn. And one thing, even this picture, if you look at it, there is something. The color is not. There's like a fading of the color. This is what I've used the transparency tool to do. If I want to see the original color of this, I can easily go to transparency tool and tell it no transparent. So this is the full color. This is how the image looks like, where it's coming from. Same thing to this. I remove the transparency, I remove the effect on it. So this is how these two pictures look like from where they are coming from. So what did I do first? I know first if I want it to be something attractive, something that comes from one, like a fading of a color. So the first thing I do is to first select this, apply a transparency. Here, the good thing about Coreldraw is you can apply different type of transparency. And once I click transparency, just look straight. If you click any tool, look at the property bar. I apply my transparency, I come to this property bar, I see the different types of transparency that can be applied to it. I see the uniform transparent, which is if I click uniform, it applies to everything uniformly. And you would see this. I can apply, if I want to apply 100%, like we know 100% transparency simply means nothing. It's fully transparent. So I can come and apply 10%, this 10%, 70% transparency. But what I want is not a uniform transparency. I want like a gradient. This is for fountain. This for the gradient is not here, but let me show you how the fountain looks like. Fountain transparency simply means you're doing a transparent. When I click transparency, it brought this sign. So you can move this and have your transparency anyhow you want it. You can see how the transparency is forming. It basically gives us two parts. One with the dark and one with white. So the dark is simply the part that you would see, while the white one is the one that is transparent. So you can move this and determine how you want the stuff to be transparent about. Good thing is sometimes you get confused, you make many mistakes, you can easily come and tell it, I don't want any transparency. It comes back to your visual picture. But the easy way, root way is if you have an image like this, I've just zoomed. This is my image that I have. I come to transparency. I can easily drag on the image. I want the transparency along this part. I can easily drag on the image like this. And you see what it gives me. I can drag from the start. And if I want it to increase more, I can come and increase this or come with this. So once it gives me this is what I want, I click OK. I have this. I do the same thing for this also now. For this also, I do the same thing. I come, just zoom it. I have my transparency tool. Then now I want it from here. Do that. It gives me this. And that is what I want. Now I have this tool now. Now it remains, how do I bring it inside here? This is where we have let me even delete this. Let me draw a new one. I've drawn that one from what we learned before, rectangle tool. We have this rectangle tool. I want it to be curved. I come here and I give it a fully curved edge. I can decide to, I can type what I want directly. 10, for example, gives me this. 10 is not enough, 25. So I have this. I can change the thickness. We saw this before. I can change the thickness of this. So now I want to bring this inside here. I'll click this. There is one thing we call power clip. Power clip, you can do it in two ways. I can come to objects and say power clip. So place inside the frame. Because this is the object that is selected. Place inside the frame, I can do that. I'll come, it will tell me which frame, I'll come and select the frame. By default, it's putting it in the middle. But I can come and say edit and then move it to where I want it to be. Once I finish and say, okay, it cuts it out. So I placed it inside. This is one way, as you can see here. And I can do the same thing for this. What's the other way? I will do it for another way. I will not use that object power clip. Another way is just simply right click on the object. Now I'm right clicking on it and move it inside there. Once I right click and move and I drop it, it will ask me, what do I want to do? Do I want to move it? I want to copy it, or I want to power clip? I want to power clip. I clear power clip, and it have that. It's not really fully like I want it. I will come here and say edit power clip. This power clip, I click the image I want. What I will do is just to make it a bit bigger. Then okay. Now we have just like what we have on top there. Now we have this. If we feel the outline is too thick, we can change it. Basically, you have this. So we can move this anyhow. I've written the title here. Normal text was used to write the title. But maybe one thing here is that I have centralized it, which is like we have a center. I can easily move this inside there. I feel it's not big enough, it's small. I can increase the size. Something is up there, I can increase the size there as I want it. So there is something I forgot to mention with regards to text, which is very important, because since we're going to be using text most of the time, is once you click, if you want to type something very long, and I click text now, for example, there are two ways. I can either just click once and start typing, or I can define the area I want to type in. How do I define the area? Is that rather than clicking once and start typing, I can click and drag as if I want to draw a rectangle and drag and leave it. You see, it gives me an area. So as I'm typing, everything I'm typing will not pass this area. Once it gets there, it goes to the next step. Everything I'm typing will not pass that area. Yeah, that is one thing about that. So this is like, this is usually useful, especially when you're designing something like a newsletter that needs for you to write and type many things. That's another thing where you can use Coreldraw. And in this, it's good that you can finish typing everything. Maybe I can copy something from a Word file and paste here, and you can change many things. You can make it 2 column, make it 1 column, like we do normally with MS Word. So that is what's happening with this text here. If you look at this text, we have like a small border. That border is not real, because when you print, the border will not come. This border will not come. But that border is just guiding me to where I'm putting my text. If I increase the font of my text here, if I increase the font of this text here, if I increase the font of this text, that it surpasses this border, look at what will happen. For example, I change it to 25. You'll see that I do not see the remaining part of the text, but something happened. The border changed to red, meaning it's telling me that there are still some remaining text that is not feasible within this. So how can I solve this? I can solve this in many different ways. I can solve this by either, once I click, let me take this out. Once I click the text, I have this arrow here, this small black one. I can click this arrow and drag it down. It shows me once what is there is full. That means it's not yet, there are still more text. That's why it's still red. If I click, drag it down again. If I even stop here, it will still be red, meaning it's telling me there is still more text that is not showing. Until I can be able to show all the text, then I have it as black. And have it as black. So that is it about this. I can drag anyhow. I can drag by the side also. I can drag by the side. For dragging, that is something we get used to with practice. And you know, once you bring your mouse, even without clicking, key. Once it's changed, you can be able to drag it anyhow you want to drag it. So that is it with regards to text. So another thing that was here in this picture, said picture, let me bring the actual poster also so that you see it very well, the picture of the poster. Trying to look for it. No, fortunately, I don't have the picture of the poster. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, so this is the picture of the poster here. Now we have done. So one other thing here is this picture we are seeing here was also done with power clip. The same thing we did here, because by default the picture is not having a round circle. So I can do what? I can bring out the power clip inside there. I can say power clip and bring out. So this is the actual picture we see. This here is the actual picture. So what we see. Okay, no, I should not use edit. I've used edit. Rather, I want to extract. Yeah. So this is the actual picture. Actually, the actual picture is something you can apply border to if you want. It's just a rectangular picture that was put inside this image for power clip. So how did we do it? We come to circle. We draw this. Is there, and we have the picture. After drawing this, we have the picture, and we go to the picture. I will use the others. I right click and drag it. Once I right click and drag, is we ask me, I say power clip inside. We have this. We can say it's not like what we have here. We can edit it. Click this and make it a little bit bigger. You see, I'm looking at the circle and make sure it's out. So everything inside this circle is what is going to show. Everything outside is not shown. So I click OK, I have this. And that's how we have this here. Every other thing was done with a combination of an object, maybe rectangle, and a text. That's everything we can see here. Then it's with regards the color, your color combination that you would use has to do with your own imagination. Nobody will. Some of us are not that very good at color mixing. Sometimes we tend to put red on blue, which some people look at it and say, "Oh, it's not fine. You should look for some gradients like that." But it has to do with one's imagination. So I think one other part of this graphics that's very important is these two images here. These two images that we saw here, which I've brought out here, this and this. So I'll show you the full image. It's just one image, actually. One image that was duplicated. After we duplicate it, then we did what we call, I call it cloning? We did what we call cloning, something similar to that. So I select this image now. I come to here and I tell it I don't have where I'm having this movement. Let me close this text bar. Okay. So I click this. I tell it I don't want. So this is actually the full image. You can see the full image here. This is the full image of what we are seeing here. But the other parts have been cropped out. So because of the way everything is, I don't have to design the image myself. Most of the time, I don't have to design this image. I did not design it myself. This is the full image that was taken from internet or somewhere, and we brought it here. So I think at the beginning of designing this, I wanted to use this image as it is because I love the background and the way it is like that. But after many to and fro, I've settled for this. So what have I done to have this image is I have this. First, like I said, I make a duplicate of it. Then I apply the transparency tool. Click my transparency. Then I apply transparency tool from here. So I can see what happened there. The other sky part, if I still want more of the transparency tool, I'll just do this. I'll do this. And if I want more, depending on the level I want, I say, okay. So I have this, which is this part of it. So how do I get the other part of it? I can either use this or I use this same one that I've already performed duplicate. I've already performed transparency on it. I say Control D or so, I make a duplicate of it. So now I have two pictures and I use this tool here, mirror. So I create a mirror, and you know, mirror is like when you're looking something is the other way. So I want it to mirror. I just click on it and it gives me this. And I arrange them together. And this is what we have. This is exactly what we have here, which is what we here have in here. We can still apply more of the transparency because you can see here, since we have just one, here is still two. We can apply the transparency to cover it down more. Where is the transparency tool? And just shift this back until we have this. Apply the same thing here for this. Move it back until we have this. So now here I have two different objects. I can select, how do I select two objects together? I click on the first one. By pressing Shift, I can select the second one. So I select both of them together. If I want them to be perfectly aligned, yeah, this one good thing about Coreldraw, I want them to be perfectly aligned. Any object you click together, if I want them to be aligned from the top, I want them to be aligned from the top. Once they are selected together, on my keyboard, I can just press T, which means stop. You will see what happened. If I undo it, if you notice, let me make it so obvious. Let me bring this down like this and select this. I've selected both of them, this and this. Once I press T on my keyboard, T means align all the selected objects by the top. So I press T, it aligns them by the top. So they are now on the same line. So I can easily do this and I can group them and bring them to where I want them here, which is how we got this top. And we have the middle is free. You can place anything. These are just typing. Every other thing here is by typing that we want for here. Yeah, I think that is every other thing here is just wording. We arrange as we like the rest. So I think maybe for now, this will be like a first session. Maybe if we will have some other session in the future that will be more streamlined on using some particular tool, maybe that would be better. But this is just to show us general overview and the possibility that we can have. So maybe I will leave the floor for any question, pending maybe we have some more 20 to 30 minutes for any question anybody wants to ask. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Nasirudeen, for this wonderful presentation. We really appreciate your presentation, sir. And thank you very much, sir, for this. You made mention that color is imagination. Yes, this is very important, sir, because I could recall color is also not only imagination, but it is also, as in someone has to learn it very well. Because I could recall in 2012, I want to learn something like hypertext markup language. That is just web design anyway. So I have to go and learn the color. You know, all these colorings, one has to learn them because every color is a representation of everything. For example, you have to learn the frequency, the band gap, the wherever, how it shows. In fact, even you have to learn the color visual, sir. Sorry, just it is an addition. Because
yeah, for sure.
the color
With
video.
regards the color, it's a
Yes,
different thing entirely. Like you
yeah.
mentioned for the HTML, when it comes to the CSS and the rest, you need to learn the color coding, how H001, different things and the rest, and with the visuals. Because some things you would see with regards color, you would say that, oh, this thing looks very good. Someone would tell you, oh, why did you come and put yellow on green? It's not fine. So yes, the color mixing, color combination is something. What is just important that sometimes I try to do is, for example, like in our NSC now, for example, we have a logo, right? And the logo has a color that is there that you cannot change. So most times when you want to design something that has to do with that kind of organization, you try not to go too far from the colors you already have in the logo, so that at least you have a good blend. So it's the reason why sometimes you see most of our posters, we tend to see a little bit of red, yellow, green, white. It's just so that because we are trying to showcase a brand, and the brand is the NSC, which is showcased in the NSC logo. So the color is something totally different. Because now, for example, you don't want to be designing something for a company that has their major color as maybe yellow, for example, maybe a text is yellow, and you are putting a kind of, maybe you are putting yellow, but the gradient of the yellow is not the same as their own, or something totally different. That's why the color itself is a different thing entirely. That one needs to learn and have some good way to imagine it.
Exactly, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Exactly. So please, the floor is open for questions, please. If you have any question regarding what Dr. Nasirudeen has done today, please, we are very grateful to answer you. Thank you very much. Please, if you have any contribution to what was done today, please, you can put it forward, or you can ask questions, you can put your contributions, please. We're waiting for you. Thank you very much. Maybe, sir, you made mention of Canva. So, sir, Dr. Nasirudeen, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you. Sorry, I forgot.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. All right, maybe I can ask a little bit of a question regarding what you did, sir. You made mention of Canva. I know Canva is a good app, sir. So how can you Coreldraw with Canva, sir?
With regards, Canva is somehow makes some of the design easier. Because let me correct this. I think when we talk about Canva, we have different type of Canva. Let me put it that way. I know there is one Canva that usually for programming and the rest. So the Canva I'm actually talking of is a web application for designing, graphic designs and the rest. It has many templates. At least the free version is still also very good. It can be used for many things, even video editing and the rest. And in there, you can easily just go for a template. You can easily search for a template. It gives you the templates and you just edit the wordings to fit what you want. Also, if you look at it back, and sometimes maybe you can go there and see a very good template, but you want to edit it, and some option, but it's not giving you the option to edit some images you see there. I think if you just go to canva.com and the rest, you see it. But that's also actually very good for some fast, many people use it now. The paid version is relatively good, though sometimes you are looking for some things and you see a very good template you want to use, then it brings up the usual pop-up for you to subscribe that this template is only available for paid subscribers only. So that is it with regards to Canva. So you can design something you can get a template in Canva and bring it to Coreldraw and make some edits in it. That's some other things you can do with it also. And the Coreldraw is not just for it's not just for graphics also. I know very well I've used Coreldraw to even design a graphical abstract for a manuscript. So it's not just making poster, making this. That's why I said it has to do with just imagine the image and open the software and see how you can bring your rectangle and your circle, how you can combine them together, how you can join them together to give you the shape that you want to do. How you can use some dotted line to maybe identify some element like that. So it's about anything you can imagine. In as much as you can imagine it, you can carry it out in terms of design graphics. If you can think about how it should look like, you can open your Coreldraw up and make it a reality. But with Canva, it's basically an easy route for you to make some good design without having to give yourself the headache with regards how it was done from the root. I hope I answered that.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Please, if anyone has questions, please you can forward it. Feel free to forward your questions. Also, sir, regarding the file, sir, if you finish your drawing, sir, is it possible for you to save or import it?
Yes, thank you for that. I think I missed that part. So, number one, in terms of saving, is you have the file option here. You can save like normal. You can save as Coreldraw file. When you save as Coreldraw file, meaning you have it is your raw file. You can come back anytime and edit it and the rest. That is one. Another thing is once you finish your drawing, you can export. Like you have this option here, this logo here. You have import and you have exports, and you see the last one, you can publish the PDF. So you can use any of these. So if I click, and the good thing here is you can have your worksheet very rough, as you can see this, and you can select what you want to export. For example, I have this logo. This logo. If I just want to export only this logo, I can easily just select the logo only and come to export. It will now tell me what do I can see here, selected only. If I remove this selected only, it will export everything on the screen. But once I select selected only, I put where I want to save it, the type. So we have different file formats. PNG, a very popular picture file format with good quality and lower image file, good for image you want to put on the website and the rest, because the quality is good and the size is not that big. JPEG, which is our normal image. Most of the image you snap with your phone and the rest will be a JPEG, if not in bitmap. JPEG is the common image file. We have PDF, we have AI, which is for the Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator is a branch of the Adobe group which created the Photoshop, meaning you can do something in Coreldraw and export it even to Adobe to use. We have many other file formats, BNP, we have CAL, we have the GIF, we have IMG that can be opened anywhere. So you can select PNG and put the name, NSC logo, and just say export. Once I say export, it will give me this image. Because I've selected PNG. PNG has its own little bit of trouble, which the transparent by and many things. So it comes here to show me this is what is going to export. If I'm okay with it, I can click OK. If I don't want it to be transparent, I can see all these checkers I have here. Anywhere you see checkers like this, it means that place is empty, it's transparent. If I don't want it to be transparent, I can remove this and to just make it white. Now this is not transparent. If I copy this anywhere, this white will show. But if I make it transparent, I copy it anywhere, this will take the background of whatever I'm placing it on. Then I can say OK. Once I say OK, it's done. It's exported, only this file. If I go to the file folder where I have it, let me share my whole screen now. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so if I go to my file folder where I have it here, where did I save it? I hope I remember where I saved it. AGM, Let me go back to Coreldraw and see where I saved it, unfortunately. I have here export. So I've saved it inside, okay, NSE April. Okay. So come here, NSC April. I've saved it inside there. So this is what I just exported from there. This is the file I've just exported from there. So that's the one way by which you can save your file. You can export in PDF also. You can export in any file. If you come here, file, you see export. If you need for any, once you click export, it gives you where do you want to save it, then what do you want to export. So that is the way you can save the file here. Thank you. I think someone wanted to ask a question before you.
Yes, Doctor. Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. It's very educative. I just want to ask if Coreldraw has this capacity whereby you want to change the color of the photo. For example, the image of Dr. Babatokwe. Let's say I want to make the face to be lighter, or I want to remove, I want to edit the spec is putting on. I know Photoshop has this capacity whereby you can edit the photo itself. So can Coreldraw, do this kind of thing to make someone to be lighter, like to remove a particular feature, like the tie. I don't want the tie to be there. Can it do this for us easily?
Okay, now, yeah, that's a very good question. The straightforward answer is yes, it can do it. But the question is, do you want to do it in Coreldraw, or you just want to go to Corel Paint, Corel Photo, and have it there? You can do it because when you install Coreldraw, you install the overall Corel suite, which also has the Corel Photo. In there, you have more tools that you can use to edit many things. You can do it here. Here, I can easily do it here in terms of making it lighter and the rest. Let me first bring the picture out. Once we bring this is the picture. In fact, I can change the color of I can replace the color of this blue color to any color. Any color here that is blue, we can replace it with anything here also. It's very possible. So I can come here and just come to, since it's a bitmap, so I can do some auto adjust. First, I want to, if I'm not sure if it's a bitmap, because this, in terms of editing picture, bitmap is usually very good. With that, I can do some auto adjust first. You can see what happened. Compare these two. I've made auto adjust there. So this is just telling the system just adjust the image itself automatically. This one has been adjusted compared to this. This is looking better, right? Dr. Adeshina, so these are some of the things that can be done. With this, you can edit it. You can make these two similar pictures now. Just by doing some auto adjust, I have this and gives me something far better. I can, if I'm not satisfied with it, I want to adjust it myself. I can come to the bitmap and come to image adjustment lab. Once you click the image adjustment lab, it gives you this, where you can adjust the temperature, the tint, the brightness, and you can see everything in effect. Yeah, here you can adjust many things from here. You have this here. You can do most of these things in the image adjustment lab here. This is within Coreldraw, but going to Corel Photo has much more function than this that we can do. Like I said, we could replace, there is a particular effect there that's like transform. I think is it transform? Invert color. We can do some inversion, which would just be like our olden days. What do we call this kind of picture? That we have, you can control Z. So we can do many things. Anything with regards editing can definitely be done here. I'm just looking for the. Is that answer, Dr.?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Please, do we have more questions? Still, it is time for question and answer segment, please. Anyone has questions, please?
Okay, I think there is no more question. So maybe at the discretion of the chairman, based on if we get people that are interested, if there will be need for a follow-up edition, which will be more streamlined on a particular tool, we might discuss that also.
Yes, thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Nasirudeen. Exactly. That will be sent back to the committee. We will discuss and we will see, inshallah, the possibility of doing the next segment if need be. Okay. So please, Chair, Prof. Engineer Abdullah Masood, do we have anything to add before moving? I think we are done, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Abubakar. I think, yes, I think there is not too much to add. So I think we can just continue. We can just close the session now. What I would like to say is that I would like to use this opportunity to, on behalf of the NSC Saudi branch, actually to express our appreciation to Nasirudeen for actually delivering this session. You mentioned from the beginning that you are not an expert in Coreldraw, but what we have seen here, I think you are an expert, really. You're an expert because you have demonstrated that actually you really understand the software and its capabilities. And I'm sure you have equipped our engineers with the skills that will help them in their various places of work. Because like myself, I think this is the first time I'm even seeing anything. I've never used software before, but I've seen something that can be useful to me also. To all our participants, thank you for coming and for attending this session and for your engagement and commitment, because it's like a commitment to learning. So I encourage everyone. We are going to share the video recording to everyone. And you can go over it again and you can learn more. And as we conclude, I want to just remind you that continuous learning is key actually to our professional growth as engineers. And initiatives like this reflect our commitment to excellence at the NSC. So once again, thank you very much, Dr. Nasirudeen, and looking forward to the next session that you are proposing. I believe that the committee will now go back and probably come up with another date for the next presentation. So thank you, everyone, and I wish all of you a productive day ahead. Thank you.
Okay,
I
thank
think we
you.
can stop here, right? Or if there's anything that we need to say, I think it should be enough. Thank you very much. Engineer Abubakar, I think that's all right.
Yeah,
Do we need
nothing,
it?
sir. Yes, this is enough, sir. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. I think we can call it a day. Thank you very much, sir. All is well.
Thank you. So how can we get the recording? Engineer Adesina, I think you are the one recording.
Yes, I will share the link on the platform. Probably if you have
Excellent.
the YouTube, our YouTube channel, we can upload it there, and members can watch it anytime they like.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.